You are listening to The Mismatch, presented by FanDuel. America's #1 sportsbook has made it easier than ever to get in on the action during an NBA playoff game, even after tip-off. Just look for the live SGP tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app and build your bet slip. Then sit back, relax, and track the outcome of your parlay right in the app. And if you don't already have it, download the FanDuel app today to make every moment more. The Ringer is committed to responsible gambling. Please visit rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available, and listen to the end of the episode for additional details. You must be 21 and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Welcome to The Mismatch. I'm Chris Vernon, and joining me as he does every week from TheRinger.com is Dave Jacoby. Jacoby!
What's happening, Verno? Happy Memorial Day, brother.
Happy Memorial Day. We just got done watching an epic NBA playoff game. 128-126, Oklahoma City has taken total control of the Western Conference Finals against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this game was so high level. It's so crazy. You see a playoff game shouldn't be 128-126, but the shot making, the performances in this one, and just obviously come away mega impressed with Oklahoma City on the road. Must-win game for Minnesota to try to get back into the series, and they seemingly had an answer every single time.
I think it's worth mentioning because we haven't had a show since two of the games happened in these series.
Right.
And I think it's also worth mentioning what happened in game 3 of this particular series, which was wild. It was an absolute curb stomping from the Wolves. And I have a lot of things to say about this game, but one of the things I want to say is the performances that will be forgotten forever. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Donte DiVincenzo, I thought played so well tonight.
I don't think they will be forgotten forever, because when you see the contract that Alexander Walker gets this offseason, you're going to remember
he was so
what
good
he just,
tonight, dude.
I mean, it's the Western Conference Finals. You want to talk about making yourself a fortune. You know, this is a light free agency class.
You're right.
He's going to be very high on
he
the
looks
list.
So good tonight.
Look, you can find a two-way guard that can knock down threes, plays hard, and can be a part of winning on a big level. He made himself a lot of money tonight. So that's when I will tell you, you'll remember it in July when
someone gives him $40 million a year. Yeah, it's like 3 years, $115 million.
Yeah.
Like, for that guy?
Yeah, he very well made himself an absolute fortune.
And I just, I have I try to be a positive person, but I have a dark, dark heart. And I have to say, I am so tired of hearing that he's cousins with SGA. Every single possession, every time they guard each other. I get it. They're cousins. I get it. Can we end it now? We're done. I'm good. They're cousins. I get it. Can we stop with it? Can we stop?
Did you know that they're related?
I got it. They put the pictures up of them as babies today.
Yeah, it was like, what was the old one when you used to watch college? Brock Osweiler, 6'8". They used to always mention that. Or that, Jordan Shipley and Colt McCoy were college roommates, right? Every time you watch Texas, they would say that 100,000 times. So, yeah, the fun fact that gets beat into the ground.
I get
right?
it.
It's not fun anymore. This was just, you mentioned both Donte DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Played great.
If you would have told me that you would have gotten those performances out of those guys, and frankly, the entire Minnesota bench tonight, which was 23 out of Alexander Walker, 21 out of DiVincenzo, 11 out of Naz Reid, and the king of points per minute, the great Terrence Shannon, who every time he comes in, he scores like 7 points immediately. He had 9.
I want to start here, though, and I think that if you're looking at this game, my biggest takeaway was Anthony Edwards, you have to shoot more. You have to impact the game more. You have to exert yourself more. Like, there were points of the game where I don't have the numbers in front of me. The game literally just ended, but it was like he had like 6 field goal attempts in the first half.
No, he had one make. They showed it on the highlight at that dreadful ESPN halftime show. They showed it, and Stephen A. Smith is yelling over it. He was like, because that's the only highlight, you know what I mean? Because he only made one shot. He had one field goal make in the first half. I text you in the first half, and I said, is Ant going to play, or is he just going to be – I don't care if you're being face guarded by Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and
Wallace, and Caruso.
You're Anthony Edwards.
You're a superstar, bro.
You're a superstar.
I have it in my notes. It's Edwards has only 6 field goal attempts at the end of the third quarter. I think there's like a minute and a half left. It's like you have 6 field goal attempts. What else are the Timberwolves doing on offense if it's not Anthony Edwards either creating or shooting? If you have 6 field goal attempts and 15 assists, then God bless you. Good job. But that's not what was happening today in the basketball court. It was so disappointing from him, honestly.
And you go through these stats for this game, it is absolutely incredible. You have the Wolves shoot 51% from the field. The Thunder shoot 51% from the field. The Wolves make 16 threes at 43.9%. I'm sorry. The Wolves made 18 threes at 43.9%. The Thunder made 16 threes at 43%. They both made the Wolves made 22 free throws and the Thunder made 16 free throws. Rebounding, close. Assists, the T-Wolves have 30 assists in the game. That is a unbelievable number of assists. Offensive rebounds, both teams have 19 offensive rebounds. And then you get down to the one that I told you when we were going to be watching this series. Am I going to be able to look at that turnover number and tell you what happened? You know that Oklahoma City lives off of this, and it was 21 turnovers, 14 steals by Oklahoma City. It wasn't just
that. It was 7 turnovers in the first quarter. Like, we always focus on the last, 4 possessions of a close game. It was 7 turnovers in the first quarter. It's like, guys, this is the start of the game. Like, this is when you're fresh. This is when you've got the coach's voice echoing in your brain. Like, 7 turnovers in the first quarter of the game? Come on.
Well, and one of the other things we talked about was we were doing the Robin rankings, and we were effusive in our praise of Julius Randle and how fantastic he had been through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And then Jalen Williams, when we were going into this series, we talked about the 3 games that he had that were unbelievable in the Nuggets series and the 4 kind of subpar or dud games that he had. And so which Jalen Williams you're going to get?
Absolute
How big of an X factor is Chet Holmgren going to be? And it's like, now you fast forward and tonight, in a game that was a 2-point game, you get a bad Anthony Edwards game and a miserable Julius Randle game. Like, these are your 2 guys.
You would never think you're getting blown out. If you saw what Edwards and Randle did tonight, you would never think that it came down to a fouling at the end. And I want to say I loved Chet's game tonight.
Oh,
I've wanted more from Chet, as a basketball player, as a performer, but tonight I absolutely loved Chet's game. Defensively, even the non-box score stuff, just defensive rotations, blocking shots. He hit a couple threes. I just loved the Chet game tonight so much.
The spin and then the block at the rim, the shooting the threes without hesitation. And
I loved it.
Though he is built like a string bean, the guy goes so hard, he fights for everything. He has just got a crazy motor. And they all were just gassed at the end of this game. You could tell. Everybody is got their hands on their hips. Even SGA, when he's going to the free throw line where he knocks down the clutch free throws, he's breathing hard. And it's like, man, these guys have left it all out on the floor. And with Holmgren, there's certainly those moments where you watch and you're like, bro, I don't know what kind of weight his frame can put on it, but I've seen a lot of these guys. I've seen the Jaren Jackson Jr.'s and the Evan Mobleys, and those are two guys that are, respectively have won Defensive Player of the Year awards
Giannis,
already.
yeah.
And
KP,
Giannis.
Yeah.
And it's like there's two of them, Chet, and then a little, and obviously behind Chet, he's not at that level, but the kid in Houston, Jabari, I think about those two guys as like the new wiry frame guys that like just give this time. Give this time, because when they look like what they're going to look like, when they're 25, 26, 27, you're getting a different human being and a force of nature.
Well, when I was working with Grantland, we did a pre-draft documentary on Kristaps Porzingis, and it was the same thing. Like people forget, but he was like, I mean, like his arms looked like fingers, dude.
Yep.
His legs looked like arms. Like it was just like, you're not a human being. But I love Chet's game tonight. I was so impressed by that. And J-Dub, like I think it was game 6 against the Nuggets where he just didn't show up. And game 7, he had a big one. Ever since then, he has been like, dude, tonight
he was unbelievable.
Second banana. Like he could be the first banana.
And then how about this? But how many times was there like a kick over to the elbow extended 3, the wing 3, and he's just getting to take it butt naked open. I'm like,
knocking it down.
What defense is this? What defense is it that it's one simple pass to Jalen Williams for a wide open 3? It's not. This is not. This
if it's Lou Dort, I get it. If it's Lou Dort, I get it. If it's Kason Wallace, I get it.
You live with
if
the
it's
result.
Caruso, I get it. But they're treating J-Dub like that. And another thing is like I think that SGA had the quietest 40 points I've ever seen in my life.
He almost had a triple-double, didn't he?
Did you? I think he scored 40, right?
Hold
Look
on.
at the box score.
He had 40.
That's the quietest 40 points I've ever seen in my life. If you were to put a gun to my head and be like, how many points did SGA have tonight? I'd be like, 27? 28? Honestly.
40 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds in this game.
I don't remember a single rebound. Do you? I don't remember a single rebound.
Jalen Williams had 34 points and Chet Holmgren had 21 points. Meanwhile, on the other side, the stars of the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, 5 of 13, 1 of 7 from 3 for 16 points. Julius Randle, 1 for 7, 5 points. So you had between Randle and Edwards, 21 points on 6 of 20
combined?
Shooting. Yeah.
Combined, they shot 20 shots.
Yes, they had 21 points.
Okay, herein lies the problem.
Shots.
Herein lies the problem.
No, wait, I'm not to the worst part. They were also responsible for 10 turnovers.
I mean,
6 of 20 combined for 21 points and 10 turnovers.
Someone needs to pull
outrageous.
Anthony Edwards aside at halftime and say, "You're our guy. Like, you're our guy. You're our guy. You're the guy who's supposed to elevate us to wins. You're our star player. I don't care. I don't care if you go 0 for 16, but I need you taking 16 shots." That's how I feel about Anthony Edwards with the Timberwolves. You need him taking the shots, even if he's missing.
Look, in that first half, it just felt like not engaged at all. Like sometimes he's not taking a lot of shots, he's not scoring a lot, but he's like the gravity. He's getting the attention and he's playmaking. Or he's, and Chris Finch has talked about this a lot. Like, he's learning to take the singles and the doubles, right? Making the right play. I felt like he wasn't even touching the ball, and he wasn't even engaged on the defensive end. Like it just like he wasn't in the game.
We haven't spoken since game 3. Remember game 3?
Oh.
Remember those pick sixes when he was getting a steal out at the wing and then dunking, and then he got it again, and he didn't even want to dunk as hard because he was sick of dunking. Like, the guy from game 3 is not the same guy in game 4. And I hate to be critical of like a super athlete and a superstar, but it's like, bro, you're the star. You're the one we all look to. You are the sun that the planets orbit around. Like, we need something from you. And I don't care if you miss them, but it can't be a minute and a half left in the third quarter and you've taken 6 shots. It just can't be that way. And I'm shocked that it was even as close as it was, to be honest with you.
Oh, if I would have told you, before we're doing this, if I would have told you Edwards and Randle are going to combine to go 6 of 20 for 21 points with 10 turnovers, the idea that they lost by 2 is insane.
I would have said that Edwards got hurt in the first minute and Randle just missed a bunch of shots because he's always a playoff dud. I tried to tell you he's a playoff dud.
Oh, you don't get to do this now. No.
I know.
I even told you, stick with it, man.
Look at it. You're right. I'm wrong. I should have never praised Julius Randle. I should have never praised Julius Randle, but I did, and I can't take it back now. It's on microphone.
Well, I'll tell you this. That Thunder team tonight, to every time there's another Dante DiVincenzo corner 3 or a Nickeil Alexander-Walker play or a Jaden McDaniels drive to the basket to cut it back down and the crowd's going crazy.
Dude,
they answered every single time.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker was so good tonight.
He
was so good tonight at both ends.
But then Minnesota couldn't get the next stop. Like
because they left James up wide open.
I know.
They left him wide open.
It was crazy.
Like he's not an all-star. They were treating him like they treat me and Reckley. It was like, dude, like, what are you doing? That's Jalen Williams.
The other thing is a little too much of the relationship matchup. I get it. No one knows him better than his cousin, and
I'm so tired of the cousin
he is cooking him, bro. Like Jaden McDaniels is on your team. Why are Ant or Jaden McDaniels not on Gilgeous-Alexander? Enough with the nepotism here. Like the guy, even Alexander Walker, he fouled him on the one. And then did the whirly bird, and then they showed the replay, and he just slapped him on the elbow. And it's like, dude,
the whirly bird is out of control. It's out of control. Honestly, it should be banned from the league. I'm gonna write adam.silver@gmail.com. No more whirly bird. There was a Chet block on Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Oh, at the rim,
dude. I think Chet. You look at Chet's box score; it's 21 points. He had a good game or whatever, but I thought he was so good tonight. I've always liked Chet, even pre-draft. I feel like he's got a little dog in him. It's so corny to say, but he's just an aggressive basketball player, and I think that Chet in 2028 is going to be top 5 player. Honestly, I love Chet.
He certainly has. Look, as we've said, he has. He's one of those guys where you look at him now, and then I feel like we're going to look at him in 3 or 4 years from now, and it's a different human being.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And he is a force of nature.
I think
he's already so impactful.
You forget that they're 21 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's not
also,
even.
Also, with him, missed his entire rookie year.
Yep.
So this is really, and he missed a huge chunk of this year.
Huge chunk
of this year.
I think the missing the rookie year is kind of like a Patrick Mahomes thing too, where it's you travel with the team, you sit in the bench, you get used to the rhythm, you kind of do that. I think that Chet is going to be,
I got it,
a top 10 player for 4 straight years.
All right, think about this. So let's take away playoff games because we would add 24. He's played in 24 playoff games up to this point, I believe. Right, the 10 last year and 14 this year. No, Holmgren. Okay.
Yeah.
But he has only played, Jacoby, to your point about we're just scratching the surface here. Think about it in this context. Chet Holmgren has now played in 114 games in the NBA.
First of all, shout out to you for doing that research that fast.
Well, he played 82 last year and 32 this year.
So when he's open for 3 on a swing, I don't feel great about it. I don't feel bad about it. But I think in 2 years, that's going to be a knockdown. In 2 years, that's going to be a knockdown. It's going to be you can't allow that to happen if you're the opposing team.
So
that's
now,
going to change everything.
This was, as we said, it's a must-win. You're at home. Minnesota's got a great crowd.
It's not a must-win.
It was a must-win.
You've been using must-win very loosely lately.
It was. It was a must-win. I mean, what? You're gonna win 3 out of 4 versus them?
I'm not picking the Wolves to win this series, but I'm saying, like,
I got you.
This playoffs, weird stuff is happening.
No. But that's listen, Jacoby. You think about it through a series. I'll tell you this too. We'll get to your Knicks. They got to win that next game. End of story. Because here's the thing. You're going back for 5. You're probably getting closed out there, right? Because if you win this, you can. No. I'm talking about the Wolves right now.
Okay, the Wolves. All right.
So you're probably losing 5. Okay?
You can't.
It's at Oklahoma City. No. Hold on. You're probably losing 5.
I disagree.
What are you talking about? You disagree that they're probably losing Game 5?
Yes. I think Anthony Edwards is going to score 40 in Game 5.
Oh, stop.
Honestly. I think Anthony Edwards is going to look at this tape and look at his performance, and I think there's a huge Ant game.
Okay. Oklahoma City at home versus Oklahoma City on the road has been a totally different animal, okay, as we've seen. But if you win this one, now you've got a series on your hand because at worst, you're playing a Game 6 on your home floor. And I would say the same thing about the Knicks. They need, if they could win that game, right, now they've got a 5 at their place. Whereas if you're Indiana, if you win that one, you've got a chance to close it out on your home floor. You're giving them that opportunity to close that out on their home floor. They would still have that opportunity, but, I mean, you could take care of your home. You should be able to win your home games. Maybe home court advantage doesn't even matter in the East. I don't know. But I know it has mattered greatly with Oklahoma City. They have been dynamite at home. And so for them to go win this game on the road tonight, and every time it looked like there was some big momentum play that Minnesota made, they just answered right back.
As a basketball fan, I'm disappointed in the Timberwolves tonight. I'm disappointed. This is the game you win.
You had a chance.
This is the game you win. If Anthony Edwards shows up, if Julius Randle shows up, you win this game.
Well, and this is the one you remember, right? Very rarely, when you're a basketball fan, very rarely do you remember the games that actually decided the series. It's always something that happened in the middle.
It's always the last possession of the deciding game or whatever. But exactly.
It's always something, right? Like, I mean, I could go back through every Memphis series they played, and, like, very rarely do I remember the last game of the series. I remember the one they should have won.
This is the one the Wolves should have won.
You're right. No,
and Anthony Edwards should have played better. Like, dude,
look at what
you got from Alexander Walker. Read Alexander Walker's box score, dude. Like, he was everywhere, doing everything. If Anthony Edwards is half of Anthony Edwards, they win this game tonight. They do.
Okay. All right, quick math. They got 64 bench points tonight.
Wait, the Wolves?
Yes.
Who's that? 60. Dante, Nah.
Yep.
Who
Reed
else
and
is
Shannon.
Oh, Reed. Yeah, Reed doesn't really count, but sure.
What are you talking about?
No, I mean, he's a bench points, but, like, those are guys that play a lot. Like, how many minutes did Reed play?
Only 23 tonight. 23.
Really?
Yeah. Only playing 23 tonight. Hell, Terrence Shannon scored 9 points in 7 minutes. He's the point per minute.
I mean,
instant offense, Terrence Shannon. What a moment. I mean, meanwhile, they the starting they got Conley and Randle combined for 11 points.
Can we talk about Conley?
+2. They don't lose to them on the court. I can't explain it. Every time the guys on the court, they win.
You're right. You know what, Chris Vernon? You're right. Yeah, Mike Conley is the key to the series. Yeah, they need to play Conley more. You're right. Yeah.
Every time he's in, they win.
Yeah. Can't argue with the math, right? So how do you feel about your whole, like, Oklahoma City fetuses and battle scars and young teams don't win because they're going to the finals?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that they're going to be going to the finals. Not great.
Would you? I mean, wouldn't you pick? Look, wouldn't you pick them over the Knicks or the Pacers?
Of course. Look,
so this young, the Oklahoma City fetuses, this team, that only beat the Pelicans last year.
That's right.
That you called the fetuses. They are the favorites to win the championship. So how do you feel about your whole philosophy?
I have said 1,000 times, and it falls on deaf ears, where I have said there's an entire history of the NBA that I'm siding with. They might be the 15 Warriors. I've always left that available, right? They might be the 15 Warriors. But, I mean, obviously the 15 Warriors, look, this is one of the greatest teams ever. Maybe this team ends up being one of the greatest teams ever. I mean, like, they're certainly, right now, not only are they blowing through the scars, I mean, they're passing every test that they're given. This is one of those that you cave, right? This is one of those games where the team keeps coming at you. Like, Minnesota was making shots and making plays. And that's the moment. And that's the moment where it, like, you're on the road, you're young, you might take a bad shot here, a bad shot there.
Did you ever feel like they were going to lose tonight, really?
I did not.
I never felt like they were going to lose. Not for a single second. I look at the score, like, oh, it's like a 3-point game, and we're going to foul, and this and that. Like, I never felt like they were going to lose tonight. And it's also Minnesota's making shots, making plays, but it's guys 3 through 7, 3 through 8.
Right.
And that is not how you win games in the playoffs.
Well,
you need 1 and 2 to make plays.
And for what is a good defensive team with certainly with good defensive personnel in Minnesota, to have all 3 of those guys. And it was crazy when at the beginning of the game, they showed Finch's pregame pep talk.
Yeah, I heard it.
And he's like, take Williams out, take Chet out. We talked about this in the last game, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, what, bro, you took nobody out. Like, all of them just played the best playoff game of their careers. Literally, their 3 best players were at the peak of their powers, efficiency-wise, scoring-wise, playmaking-wise, like all across the board. How did that work? I like Chris Finch, but what the hell?
But you know me, like, I'm not like a box score guy. But if you were to ask me, how many points did Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have tonight? What would be your answer? Someone's like, how many points did SGA have tonight?
I probably would have said 30 just because
I would have said 26, honestly.
He scores 30 every time he touches the ball.
I'm like 26, 27 maybe. The guy had 40. The quietest 40-point game I've ever seen in my life.
I think I read tonight that he has had more 30-point playoff games now than anybody since Jordan.
That's not
true.
Think
about that.
They must have in this certain amount of games.
In a postseason.
No, but in a single postseason. Yeah, there's a qualifier there. Yeah.
Correct. Which is unbelievable. Like, anytime you're in that category. In fact, here I'll find it.
But I'm looking at the Pacers and the Knicks, and I'm like, is there a guy that can stop him? Nembhard? Bridges? Like, who's going to stop that guy? It's so frustrating. The Wolves had the game at 77-76, dude. And Edwards had 6 field goal attempts in the third quarter. This was not a blowout.
Okay, I found this via StatMuse. SGA now has the most 30-point games, 59. I'm sorry, so it's not in a postseason. 59 this year by an MVP. So
that's a huge qualifier. That eliminates a lot of players.
But since Michael Jordan.
But being an MVP eliminates a lot of players.
Huge number, though, right? And then also, do you want to hear something totally crazy? The Timberwolves won these following stats in this game. Ready? Rebounds, assists, points off turnovers, fast break points, points in the paint, second chance points, free throw attempts, free throw makes, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage. And they lost.
And I never felt like they were going to win.
And they lost.
You can say those stats when it's a game like the Knicks blew against the Pacers in game 1 or the Celtics blew in game 1 and game 2. Like, I would understand that, but I never felt like the game was truly in jeopardy for the Thunder. Did you? Not for a second. Not for a second.
Maybe after one of the DiVincenzo corner threes, that cut it to a 1-possession game. I'm like, okay, this is like, these guys are making. Like
he hit one.
The crowd was going crazy, and
then it's swing.
up,
No, but then it's
like,
swing. I know what you're talking about. Then it's swing, J-Dub, and he hits a three. It's 123 to 117. So it was like 120 to 117. The crowd's fired up. The next possession, and it had early in the shot clock, it's J-Dub hitting a three. It's 123 to 117. It's just. Then it's 6 points
an
again.
answer.
It's 6 points again.
That was the only time when you say. That was the only time where I thought, oh, God, they might actually win this. Because it's like, that's a momentum. That crowd was on fire. And it was like, man, like, you just get a couple stops and a couple buckets, and you got the win here, right?
I thought it was
great game.
It was a great game. I think these playoffs have been so much fun. The NBA playoffs are here. The conference finals are here, and there is no better way to be a part of the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. The regular season is over, and now we have the top 4 teams ready to battle it out for a chance to go to the NBA finals and take home the championship. If you think you know how it's going to go down, then you can make those predictions pay off with FanDuel and NBA Profit Boost. All you got to do is make your bet, activate your boost, and then you go for even bigger winnings. If you listen to the Mismatch, you know me. I'm a Knicks fan. I think the Knicks are going to win tonight. Game 4 in Indiana. They're going to press this series. They're going to press the Pacers. Brunson will battle back. I'm taking the over on Brunson points, the over on Towns points. I think this is going to be a landslide Knick victory, but that's just me. If you want to go with me, go with me. If you want to go against me, but make sure you do it with FanDuel. Don't just be a spectator this postseason. Head to FanDuel.com/mismatch to download America's #1 sportsbook and make every moment more. Remember, you must be 21 and over and present in select states or 18 and over and present in D.C. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as a non-withdrawable profit boost token. Restrictions apply, including any token exception and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Can we talk about the Knicks now?
Let me hear it. Not a great game. Great comeback.
We haven't spoken since game 1. I was so angry after game 2.
I bet.
I was so angry and emotional after game 2. In game 2, I felt like defensively, they completely just dropped the ball and just let go of the rope. There were so many defensive, just technical mishaps where Miles Turner gets a dunk and guys are pointing at each other. There was so much just mental mistakes defensively in game 2 that I was so frustrated by.
It also felt to me that felt to me, and obviously we have the perspective of game 3. 2 felt a lot like we know your weaknesses, and Rick Carlisle, I know your weaknesses, and I am going to wear you out for said weaknesses. I am going to punish you for these lineups. I'm going to punish you for your starting lineup has no chance against me. None.
I disagree.
And I am going to wear you out. If you want to put Brunson and Towns out there, then this is what we're doing. And good luck, because we got enough good players to be able to do it. And obviously, the Siakam thing was like, come on.
I mean,
the guy turned into like
16 points in the first quarter.
He was unstoppable.
What the fuck? Like, it was
crazy. That was crazy.
Like, we should have hired a sniper to take him out.
He was so good.
It's like there's no way to stop that man. And again, it's the Nesmith did it in game 1, and Siakam did it in game 2. But game 2 to me was about. It felt like Karl Anthony Towns was a player who was injured until late February and was just like acclimating himself to the defensive schemes. And I'm not going to sit here and speak in this microphone like I know more about NBA defense than Tom Thibodeau. But there was just mistakes, blown coverages, over and over again that led to layups. And you saw a big one for the Knicks late when they doubled Brunson. He passed to Hart, and Hart got a bucket. This is game 2. It was just like, it was kind of one of those like, what are we doing, guys? Like, we're giving up open layups, but the Knicks did it over and over again. It was so frustrating. But man, I'll tell you, game 3, when they're down 20, the group chat is just firing off messages about Jay Wright and Giannis again. Like, it's over.
I was texting you during this, and I was like, "Bro, this is getting dark."
It was
like on
over.
that run that they had. Now, obviously, the Knicks had that late run at the end of the first half, but there was that segment where they scored the 18 points, and it was like it was like a dunk contest, and they're flying up and down. It's like,
I'll tell you the low point.
A wave.
The low point was Halliburton on the break with an open layup that could have easily scored himself, and then tosses it with his left hand to Obi Toppin, former Knick, who just dunks it. And they're just having fun at home. Crowd's going crazy. And I believe that put them up like 18. I think it was the second quarter.
Yeah, right.
At that point, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, like, bring people behind the curtain a little bit. I started being a dick to my wife and my kids. I apologized to her today. I started being a dick to my wife and my kids. I started to fight with my wife. I started yelling at my kids. And I was just like, I just had to lash out, man. I just had to. And I apologized to my wife today. I was like, listen, I want to talk about last night. I had to. And I was like, the Knicks were down. Like, I was in a bad spot. You know, I say things I don't mean, and I apologize to you. And she's like, I get it. Like, she's the baddest bitch. I love her so much. But I had to apologize today for my behavior at that point in the game. I was really being a dick.
Mine have such a keen awareness of the things that matter to me that I like root for. Like, I go down to my dad's house for Cowboys games, and I mean it's absolute misery. But they always they keep track of it at home, and then if I get home, when I walk in, like, I promise you, nobody will even speak to me. They're just they don't even like. Yeah, they don't even. Yeah, they know.
They treat you like you're radioactive. It's like,
and then I'll get over it. Like, give me an hour or something, right? And then, you know, I'm just so why do I do this to myself? So you got to just kind of, at least after all these years, my kids are older now, so they have a very keen awareness of when I'm mad about some kind of sports outcome.
Well, it is worth talking about the Knicks a little bit because there's, you know, I'm glad that we do the show sort of like a day after the Knicks game has happened, so I'm not emotional about it.
Right.
Because this whole, like, Tom Thibodeau has unlocked the rotation and DeLon Wright.
Oh, God.
It's just like, fucking please, dude. Landry Shamet is worthless.
Okay.
DeLon
he was
Wright,
not worthless. He was great.
He drew a charge and hit a 3. I've watched Landry Shamet for years, dude. And so have you. Like, you think Landry Shamet's like this unpolished gem that's going to turn into an all-star in 2 years? He plays basketball like he's a deer on ice.
It would be
like, he's ridiculous, dude.
It would be an uncut gem. Okay. Not a
uncut jams.
My muse. All right. So, all right. Look, I'm going to present you with questions because, look, because we have a delay, we don't need to go through the game and everything that happened in the game. Everybody's beat that.
We've all seen
the ground, right? We've seen the game.
I love this. It's good big picture.
I want to ask you questions about this. Okay.
Yeah. No, the Knicks are not better without Brunson. No.
Karl Anthony Towns had 4 points in the first 3 quarters, 2 for 8 headed into the fourth. How dark did the group text get regarding Karl Anthony Towns?
Giannis. Trade. He's good. It's him and whatever for Giannis. But I'll say this about Karl Anthony Towns is I felt the same way in the Celtics series. I hate it when he shoots deep threes. But when he up fakes and goes to the basket, or he has his back to the basket and does his stupid 3 dribble spin move thing, he's unstoppable. Who on the Celtics or the Pacers has stopped Karl Anthony Towns when he tries to shoot near the basket? I'm all ears. Who?
He had, 20 in the fourth? Is that right? 20?
No, but who on the Pacers can stop him? But we give it to Brunson to dribble around for 20 seconds. But who on the Pacers? Who is the guy on the Pacers that can stop Karl Anthony Towns? I'm asking you that question. Who?
I don't think they have a natural matchup for him, and that's why he has had – we talked about this going into the series. His numbers against the Pacers have been absolutely fantastic.
And I think KP is a natural matchup for him, but KP wasn't himself. He's got, Porzingis flu or whatever.
And you know very well, I talked about this going into the series, that I thought that there was a totally reasonable discussion to have of the success that Towns has had against the Pacers is truly indicative of that the Pacers are not some kind of overly physical team. That's not what they are, right?
No.
The way to get to Towns is to be physical with him. Rough him up, get him out there to where he's just an innocent bystander on the three-point line, and then get super physical with him so that he gets his stupid fouls because he's going to put himself into trouble, and you get him all frazzled. Like, that is the MO, is to get really physical with Towns, and that will give you a different player. He's not, but last night he turned into an absolute monster. He was the physical one. He was dunking on people. And after all that, he was getting the and ones and shit. It was great. He was unbelievable.
Fourth quarter Towns was crazy. But let's not also forget that he had 4 points going into the fourth quarter.
That's right. 2 for 8.
He disappeared.
Okay, so let's not talk about the Brunson. Are you better without Brunson?
I don't give a shit.
No, hold on.
The best player
in last night's game, they were infinitely better when he wasn't.
Whatever.
That's true. Okay?
I mean, whatever.
No,
dude.
that's true.
Everybody has a bad day.
You watch what I watched.
No, I think that's an insane thing to say. Do you think?
Okay, they were -6 when Brunson was on the floor, and they were +12 in the 17
so
minutes.
we're doing single game plus minus.
What?
We're drawing conclusions from single game plus minus. Go ahead with your Mike Conley is the reason that the Wolves are losing the series.
Does it match up with your eyes?
No. No.
What are you talking about? You think that Towns' fourth quarter happens if he's on the floor? Come on.
Did you see game 2?
Come on.
Did you see Brunson in game 2?
Yeah, the loss?
He couldn't miss. Like, I'm not going to do this. This is a very
Towns'
dark
quarter does not happen. You know that. No,
I'll say this. I'll say that their offense is too Brunson oriented. And
their defense,
he dribbles the air out of the ball.
Rick Carlisle did it last night. Rick Carlisle told you.
Oh, please. I'd love to talk about this.
Their best defensive player, they have more defensive players on the floor in the fourth quarter.
Do you know why Rick Carlisle said that?
Of course I do.
Because he doesn't want Brunson on the floor.
Jalen Brunson was pissed he wasn't in that game, too. You see his post-game press conference or post-game walk-off? That was really weird. It was really weird.
He's always weird in interviews. He's very monotone.
It was weird because it was like you guys just had this unbelievable win, but it was another guy did it. And so it kind of felt like,
Brunson, dude,
a little resentful that he wasn't in the game to do it.
I think that Brunson's, when he speaks publicly, he's a very monotone, down the middle guy. So you're not going to get much high or much low from him. So let's not read too much.
Okay,
into
here's
that.
what I'll say. The Pacers, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but the Pacers missed 20 of 25 threes, I think, that they took in this game. The Nesmith thing is huge. We'll find out what his ankle is. We'll see. Right?
It was big.
Pacers lost game 3 to the Cavs, and then came back and boat raced them in game 4.
Blown out in game 3 of the Cavs.
But then they boat raced them in game 4. So
what are you doing?
I'm just asking you. I'm just telling you. I'm just asking you. Do you have concerns that that was an anomaly, that you came back from down 20, they missed every 3 they took, or do you feel good about the series now? That's what I'm asking.
I'll say this is, it's so corny to say, but I love basketball, man. I love I love NBA basketball. Whether I'm watching the Wolves and the Thunder or the Pacers and the Knicks, like every game has gone down to the last possession.
Well, not the 42-point game.
No, I mean in the East.
Like I think in the West, I think we had 2 games decided by 40 plus in that West Finals. Crazy. Yeah. We're talking about a 2-point game.
But in this Pacers Knicks series, like game 1 was like miraculous Neesmith.
Yeah.
Game 2 was close, right. a weird Brunson pull up, and game 3 was down to the wire. Like this is the fun stuff. This is what's good. And I feel good about it. They've got a chance. And I think with Towns and Brunson, you've got 2 offensively gifted players that the other team doesn't have an answer for. And I feel that's why I feel good about the Knicks. I don't love it.
Did you like the lineup changes and playing 9? We're going deep
I'm not
in the archive.
I'm not a Shamet guy. I'm not, I think DeLon Wright is a great option if you're in the Drew League. But I'm not sure in the NBA. The Wright brothers run the Drew League, by the way, but I'm not sure in the NBA he's great. There is
the Mitchell Robinson thing didn't really work either.
I think. Listen, I'm unlike other Knicks fans. I don't love Mitch Robinson.
I got you, but that Knicks starting lineup has gotten murdered.
That's fine.
I know you don't like numbers, but the numbers indicate their starting lineup can't do this.
Can I give you some numbers? They won 4 in the first round, and they won 4 in the second round. And they've been very competitive in the third round.
We're talking about a specific matchup. This starting lineup is getting shredded by Indiana. Shredded.
Yes.
And so it's like, and they tried the Mitchell Robinson thing, and it's like, it ended up, in the end, Josh Hart's back in the game, right, when it matters most. And Josh Hart was, by the way, Towns is the MVP for the 20 and the 4th, but Josh Hart made every winning play possible.
In the last minute. That rebound was insane. I will say this is, I'm not a Mitch Robinson fan, and one thing I do not understand, and I'm really asking you as a question as someone who watches a lot of NBA basketball, I respect your opinion. Why don't they just hack a Mitch? Just why not?
I mean, I think it's the
why not?
Because obviously they've got some level of integrity, but beyond that, I think it's the adding of the fouls, right?
If I was the coach of the other team, I would foul him immediately, and then he's going to get subbed out. And the next thing you know, you got Precious Achiuwa in the game.
I mean, but you could do that to Gobert too. I mean, do you see those Gobert free throws tonight? Oh my God.
Why don't they do this? I really don't understand. And again, like I know that Rick Carlisle spends more time thinking about this than I do, but like if I were the head coach of the Indiana Pacers and you started Mitch Robinson, honestly, I would just foul him.
Honestly, the easy answer, Jacoby, is we're not talking about Shaq. Rick Carlisle's not going, oh my God, I can't deal with this guy. It's Mitchell Robinson. It's not Shaq. He's not sitting there going, God, I got to get this guy off the court. We can't do anything. We can't do anything with Mitchell Robinson on the floor. Come on.
I'm a Knicks fan, so I follow all the Knicks accounts and I read and hear all the Knicks stuff. Like these fans are treating Mitchell Robinson like he's Wilt Chamberlain. It's like, dude, he's never, ever made a shot outside of 5 feet. He can't even put back a rebound. When he gets a rebound, the first thing he does is turn his back to the basket so he can kick it out to somebody. He's a decent rim protector and he's good at offensive rebounding, but he is not a skilled player in any way, shape, or form. He's probably got like 7 career assists in his life. That's because he caught a rebound and kicked it out to somebody for a 3 in his whole entire career. I'm not a Mitch Robinson guy. I'm a Towns guy. Leave Towns' slow-footed ass out there and let him stand in front of Halliburton and let him, wiggle around and hopefully he can stay in front of him. That's what I would do that.
Let me ask you this. One of the things that we talked about, and this was in regards to both of these series, said the higher these scores get, the more it is going to lead us to believe that the
Wolves or the Knicks are going to lose.
The Pacers and or the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Is this the 114 stat?
Yeah, you're playing in their domain. And then last night, the final score is 106-100. The Pacers, when they've scored 114 or more versus the Cavs, Bucks, and Knicks, they're 10-0, and they're 0-3 when they haven't. And it's like, we talked about this going in. Like, you can't be playing these all-star games. That's where they want to dwell. They want to dwell in that range.
Verno, one thing I love about this is, like, look where the line is. It's like, can you not keep them under 114? We're not talking about, like, 98. It's like 114.
Well, look, it looked like they were going to score 140 last night in the first half, because how many times how about the one where Towns tries to get that rebound and they just throw it to a streaking Siakam who's like somehow ahead of the pack and dunking they do a lot of the Oklahoma City stuff where it's like the conversion rate is just so fast.
But sometimes it's off a make. Like, it should never be off a make. Like, I understand it if you miss a 3-point shot and it's a long rebound and they get behind you. That happens, whatever. But off a make, you're getting transition baskets?
If I told you that more Landry Shamet minutes were the key, would you rather lose? Would you rather win the series or play Landry Shamet?
Listen, I don't know Landry Shamet personally, and I'm sure he's a great guy. But there's certain players that you just love, and there's certain players that you don't love, and I just have never been a Shamet guy. And he's been on 17 teams in the last 4 years, and I didn't like him at any of those stops. I'm just not a Landry Shamet guy. Once in a while, he'll go 2 for 4. Once in a while, he'll go 2 for 4. What did he go, 1 for 3 last night?
Best plus minus on the team.
Oh, shut up.
They're plus 12.
He hit 1 3 and drew a charge.
They're plus 12 in 11 minutes.
He took a contested 3 with like 20 seconds left on the shot clock. I'm like, who do you think you are, Landry Shamet? And what we did tonight from Anthony Edwards is a little more Landry Shamet. Like, bro, if Landry Shamet's out here shooting 3 shots in 7 minutes, what are you doing, Anthony Edwards?
I mean, they're 18 points better with Shamet on the floor than Brunson.
This plus minus stuff. Anyone listening to this podcast knows the plus minus is a Fugazi stat. It's just Fugazi.
Hey, what about my boy Tibbs going 9 deep? 9. Do you know how many people had no idea who DeLon Wright was a Knick until last night?
Oh, he's been a Knick for a while though.
I got it, but I mean, when was the last time you saw DeLon Wright in a basketball game for the Knicks?
I mean, I watch all the Knicks games, so he's been playing, but whatever. Like, I don't mind DeLon Wright.
I'm not kidding. He played 3 minutes
in game 1. No, game 1 he had like 36 seconds.
No, at the end of a Boston game, and that's the only time that he played 26 seconds in one of the others. Other than that, he had not played since April 13th in Brooklyn.
But I'm telling you, in the Drew League in Los Angeles, these Wright brothers, like 40 a game, 30 a game. They're so good.
DeLon Wright.
How do you feel about the Knicks? How do you feel about game 4? Tomorrow night. How do you feel?
You know, one of the things that the Pacers have proven to be able to do is, like, after they don't look so hot, that they've really been able to adjust and look much, much better. Now, I will say that game was so hotly contested that it doesn't look like we're going to get something overly competitive in the Western Conference. Like, the expectation is going to be like Oklahoma City is going to be a heavy favorite to close that out in the next game. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have a long time because the finals don't start until June 5th.
They're locked. That's the thing about the finals.
Regardless of whenever that series ends. I so desperately want my inclination to believe that the Pacers will bounce back to be wrong, because I want that to be competitive. I want that to go to 7.
I'll say I felt like the Knicks outplayed the Pacers in game 1. And,
for sure they did.
Like Nesmith did whatever. And I felt like the Pacers just outclassed, outcoached, out-hustled, out everything the Knicks in game 2. And I honestly felt like the Pacers played better in game 3 and lost 2. I think the Pacers have played better in 2 out of 3 games.
5 for 25 from 3 is hard to overcome.
There's weird numbers about them on the road versus at home. It's like, I don't get it, but the sample size is big enough that you have to take it into account. Like, what is that? Why can't Nesmith, Nembhard, and Halliburton hit threes at home? It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't make any sense of it.
Well, and look.
I blame Caitlin Clark.
That Nesmith thing is big.
I think he's healthy. We've seen ankles. You saw your guy Jaw broke his ankle and then came back in the game. Brunson breaks his ankle every game. Like, ankles are nothing.
Edwards has done it.
Yeah, like ankles are nothing nowadays.
I mean, it's obvious. It has been an unbelievable postseason for ankles or whatever the hell they're doing to him.
Yeah.
I wish I would have invested in whoever makes that. Right? It feels like they numb them out. I don't know how these guys are coming back. I mean, like, you'll see a guy's ankle just twist completely, and then he just bounces right back.
I think Nesmith it's so weird to say because I remember Nesmith on the Celtics, and it was kind of like this mystery guy that didn't get run. It's so weird how important he is for them.
Oh, he's so important, and here's why. Because otherwise, the other option is Ben Shepherd, because Mathurin has sucked. Like, unplayable sucked. He's so bad. He does nothing in this series so far. It's
I think
weird.
Mathurin is more of an offensive threat, but what Nesmith does defensively, God, I get so frustrated about the Knicks. I'm trying to be objective and not emotional, but God damn it. Karl Towns, Mitchell Robinson, the point of you setting a screen on Brunson's man is to stop his man from following Brunson, and they set the worst fucking screens. Towns has never set a good screen. They don't get the switch because Nesmith can just fight over it. I get so mad at these screens every single time. I'm like, set the point of you being there.
I know.
Is so there you force the defense to switch.
It's a real issue.
It's so frustrating. Frustrating.
It's a real issue around the league to the point that the guys that are great at setting screens stand out like a sore thumb. Like, you do not defeat. You're accepting the switch when Steven Adams is out there. Hartenstein, great screener. Like, but they're few and far between. Like, these guys that actually get guys to die on the screen.
Yes, and there's no one on the Knicks that can do it. And I'm so tired of them running a screen for Brunson, and Nesmith stays on him, and then he has to point at somebody else to get a second screen. It's Bridges, and then it's like, so you're switching from Nesmith to Nembhard. That's not the fucking plan. I get really mad at the screen thing, and I think you make a good point with Steven Adams, because remember when Steven Adams was out for your Grizzlies, they just went into the tank.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't because they missed his jump shooting. You know what I mean?
No.
But it's
you gotta and look, it happens with, you saw it tonight, and it was a good move by Oklahoma City. They just decided, you know what? We're just gonna put Caruso. We're just gonna throw him on Gobert, and
you shouldn't let that happen.
I got it, but no. What is he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
I mean, I'm not a Gobert guy.
They were letting a small guard Gobert so that when he set the screen, it shouldn't be able to happen. No, so when they set the screen, Gobert's useless. Come on.
It's useless.
Just, I mean, honestly.
Like, dude, if you have Caruso on, you just seal him, catch, and dunk.
No, he just gets in the way, too. It's like those driving lanes that Ant would theoretically have.
I have a minutia note from tonight's game. I have a minutia note from tonight's game before we go. I love Isaiah Hartenstein. I've loved him since he was a Clipper, before he was a Knick. And I've seen him hit these 5-foot lefty floaters from the middle, from the right baseline, from the left baseline. And tonight, he didn't even look at the basket. You're a good passer. But, like, dude, if you're going to be a center on a championship team, you have to be a threat to score the basketball. They won tonight. Whatever. No one's going to talk about it.
They only played him 15 minutes, right?
But no one's going to talk about it. But, like, I love this guy. Yeah. I love him. And I found out he was black, which is insane. That was the most surprising thing that happened in last year's whole season. The most surprising thing was that Isaiah Hartenstein is black. But, like, he needs to be a threat to score because he has that 6-foot lefty floater thing. It's the weirdest little shot, but he's not even looking for it anymore, and it pisses me off.
I'm not worried about it. Isaiah Hartenstein
pisses me off.
Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, Caruso, all those guys are all role players, and their job is to play for the greater good of the star, and they accentuated those stars. End of story. When you get your three best players playing like that, that's because all those other guys are doing everything else. They're keeping the ball moving. They're doing the dirty work. They're grabbing the offensive rebounds. They're getting the extra possessions, and they're happy. And it's like they're like that. Look, it's a sign of a great team. A sign of a great team is when you've got guys that play their roles and know their roles. And that's the crazy thing about what happened with Minnesota, because it's like, bro, your role players were your stars tonight.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm looking at you, Anthony Edwards.
No, those guys are supposed to augment Randle and Edwards, not be the guys.
It is the thing. I don't want to go too far, but I want to be like, hey, Anthony Edwards. Yeah, you made the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. You did. But you kind of had some stinkers in both those years. He did. We've talked about it we talked about it a year ago. And I don't want to go too far, but it's kind of like, hey, man, like, if you're the face of the league, you're the American-born star, you got the Adidas commercial, you got the Sprite commercials, you're Santa Claus. Like, hey, man, like, we're supposed to win because of you. And you need to take more than 6 shots when it's a minute left in the third quarter of a game that you must win.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Do it.
This is why guys don't win until they're. We've talked about it 1,000 times.
But as someone who has 4 kids, they age you
still
quickly.
Young.
He has so many children that the children age you quicker.
He knows them. You age quicker if you're around them.
Let's not go down that. Let's not go down. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
His dog is named Ant Jr., for God's sakes.
No, I just I saw something on the algorithm that told me today that like his sister's named Antoinette, and like it's like he's got all these Anthony. It's like George Foreman. So he's got one of those families. Shout to him, man.
Dude, I saw one that was so dastardly today.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No. It was a picture of Ben Wallace, and it was like one of these, like, I guess, phony NBA accounts. But you should have seen the responses to it on Instagram. It was like, I am so proud of my son. I always knew he'd do this. And it was like a picture of Ben Wallace and then like side by side with Kason Wallace. And every comment was like, oh my God, I'm a casual. I had no idea. And it's not, Ben Wallace is not his dad, but it's funny that in 2025 you could post something like that and everybody's like, dude, they've never even mentioned that. Like,
we are getting to the point where like 10% of the league has a dad that was in the league. I know. We're getting to that point. Like every draft year, it's like, all right, well, whose kids are we drafting in the lottery this year?
All right, well, watch out for if Nesmith's out. Watch out for the mustachioed Ben Shepherd.
Oh God,
he's on deck. I would go crazy if that guy lit me up.
I mean, I have no fear if Ben Shepherd. There was a point. There was a point when it was a T.J. McConnell, Tony Bradley 2-man game.
Oh my God!
In game 2, and I was like, we're losing to these guys. I was like, this is Rick Carlisle's, like, mad genius plan is to post up Tony Bradley. Like, what are we doing?
There was a moment where you could have paused it and you saw Tony Bradley, DeLon Wright, and Landry Shamet all on an Eastern Conference Finals court. You're like, what is happening?
What is happening? Yeah. Who got hurt? Was there a plane crash? And TJ McConnell, by the way, is so good. He's been playing in the last 2 games.
Lights out.
0 turnovers. Makes the right decision every time. When he raises up from 12 feet, it's in. Like, it's in. It's over.
Hey,
he's so good.
No, you need one of those, like, remember that old store they used to have in the mall, like, Successories? It would be just a picture of TJ McConnell. It was all like motivational posters and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I could see there being like a motivational poster, just be TJ McConnell and his quote, "Playing hard is a skill." He really believes that.
He really like represents the stereotypical trope of like a white American basketball player. Like Tyler Hero's out here like chopping people up and he's got fade. Yeah. And he like, it's like, but like TJ McConnell is just like the hardest working, grinding, making the right decision, coach's son, like coach on the floor. Like I honestly, I would rather that like TJ McConnell wasn't available than Nesmith. Honestly. Like honestly. He's been cooking the Knicks for the last 2 games. They won. People never talk about good performances and losing games. Like Nickeil Alexander-Walker's game tonight can be forgotten. But like TJ McConnell was so good in game 2 and game 3. He was so good in those minutes. It's unstoppable.
He's such a change of pace. Like truly. He's just going like 100 miles an hour all the time and feels like he's making impact.
I love him so much that I hate him so much because he plays against my team.
Well, I'll tell you this. The Knicks' chance at winning that series is by winning the next game. I do not think they could win the series if they lose it. I don't think they could. They're not coming back.
I'm going to say the same thing I said about game 2. Not a must win.
All right.
They're not done until they're done. The Garden is a magical place, and they're going to be back in there in game 5. And then all I got to do is win game 5.
I mean, it was magical for Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know if it was magical.
Nesmith is who it was magical for.
I know, yeah. These guys are unbelievable. Put them on Broadway. All right.
But we'll see.
We got a bunch of good games,
hopefully. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to Memorial Day. My grandfather served. My uncle served. Both of them passed. And I think that every family has somebody, a cousin, an uncle, and auntie, or somebody that served. And I think it's important to recognize them on Memorial Day.
Yeah, both of my grandfathers, my uncles, a lot of vets. And my grandfathers, one of them died when I was 4, and one of them died way before I was ever born. I didn't know them, but obviously that is something that has always been a true source of family pride. That's stuff that hangs up in the house, and
you've always got the medals around and the pictures around. Yeah.
Well, like the valued thing. My one grandfather. The coolest thing I remember when I would go to my grandmother's house as a kid, there was just one piece of memorabilia, I guess, that I would look at every time. He had a canteen that he had like whittled in every city he had been to in World War II. And I mean, the whole thing was just filled. And I was like, this is so cool. Right? I don't know whatever happened to it. I don't know what happened. Hopefully one of my uncles or something has it after my grandmother passed away. But that canteen was awesome. I mean, absolutely awesome. And I was like, dude, this is like real history. Real. Jesus. Like something from the Smithsonian or something.
Yeah, it's like cool. You watch all the movies and you see all the stuff, but like, and then you talk to the people that lived it and went through it, and it's gnarly.
Yep. Thanks to all of you that have served, and I know we have a lot that listen to us that have either are currently serving or have served in the past, and thank you to all of you. Thank you to our producers Jessie and Tucker and Jacoby. I'll talk to you later this week.
Must be 21 and over and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and over and present in D.C. Got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.